Imagine James, he's caught up in this whole optimal lifting science bro mentality, and he's trying to find the perfect machine to grow his pecs. And he goes from machine to machine to machine, he's moving from dumbbells to barbell. He started with a good movement. Do you know why he's not growing? It's because he trains awfully. Now we have Anatoly. Anatoly's doing whatever machine he wants, whatever exercise he wants. It can be the bar, it can be the dumbbells, it doesn't matter to him. He knows the principles, he has control, and his chest is puffed out, man. Like a lion's mane, like Superman. You know those cartoons you used to watch? Literally, imagine any superhero frame, that is Anatoly's chest. Now, who's actually doing it right here? The guy trying to find the most optimal machine to grow the pecs? Or the one who is having the principles dialed in and has a chest bigger than Superman? I'm there in the gym with my tripod, literally trying to find the perfect place. It's so difficult. The lighting, there's issues. The filters, there's issues. What exposure do I use? Man, it is absolutely so complicated to set this sort of thing up, to record something good to you. I even remember once when I used to do TikTok, I made a video complaining because I was so frustrated with the fact that I did 2 sets of something and the framing was absolutely rubbish, and I complained in the video and people came and they were like, why don't you just watch the footage? I'd watched the footage after I filmed it the first time, and then I thought I'd fixed it. I filmed it the second time, I realized I still wasn't in the frame. Do you understand how difficult it is to do this sort of thing? Like, I am not a cinematographer. I am not, what the guy name is, you know, Max Fox or Michael Bay or whatever. I am not directing Max Fox. Who is that? I am not directing films. I am not a cameraman. I do not have to do this stuff. And not only am I not a cameraman, but I am the cameraman filming myself. I am a cameraman, I guess. But I am filming myself. I cannot somehow look at my watch or something and see what the camera is doing. I don't have that ability. I don't have omnipotence over what my camera is viewing. So it's pretty difficult. And that is why I stopped doing it. I used to record every single session, every single set, not only for like posting stuff and sending to friends, but just to see how my form was doing, just to see if I can improve something. I don't do that anymore. I haven't recorded myself in the gym for maybe about 4 months, so this was annoying to do, and I still did it for you guys. Quick actionable step. I want you to open up a text document and I want you to jot down your current chest workout machine. I'm going to actually run you through my entire workout and we're going to compare what's going on, both sets, intensity, and the exercises themselves. Now, before we do get into that, I want to tell you about the principles that are going to be present in every single exercise I do. The first is stability. Now, whilst I may not always choose the most stable exercises, the more stable a movement is, the more muscle it will grow, because the more muscle fibers it can recruit. Pretty simple. Literally imagine walking on the tightrope. You're not going to be able to run as fast as running on the road. It's the same thing. You're trying to run as fast as possible and you can't do it on the tightrope, you know? That's why stability is important in a very, very basic, completely different analogy way of explaining it. Now with the chest, we're also focusing on lengthening it as much as possible. You see, the chest is a special muscle in a way where the more it gets lengthened, the more it grows. And so we want to be making sure that the range is as much as possible, although this does actually have to be within our active range, which many people get wrong. And we also need to train to failure. Train to failure is probably the most important thing for any training. If you are going to choose one thing to do properly, do that. Do that one thing properly. And of course, with triceps, because this is the chest day, we are going to throw in a little bit of movement for the triceps. The triceps do not benefit from the stretch. And so we're doing these in the mid-range, which means we're not trying to maximize ROM, we're just trying to work it through a decent range. But we're not really trying to lengthen or stretch it maximally, as that's going to cause more fatigue and damage, and that's not really going to help us grow as big a tricep as possible. So I've never actually really done this sort of thing before, and this is probably going to be a big video considering that, but I mean, I am going to include my warm-up. Now, this is something you can skip past if you must, if you really find it boring, but my warm-up is pretty simple. I swing my left arm forward and my left arm back, then I swing my right arm forward and my right arm back. So we can skip to the rest of the warm-up because this is pretty irrelevant. You don't have to see me swing both arms. And so this is when I do, it's a shoulder thing, right? It's a mobility exercise. I'm warming up my shoulder joints, and I've just got this pole, and I'm bringing it all the way back. this is incredible. You get stronger in this range, and also you might not even be able to go all the way back with this at first, but you keep doing it and you'll get better. Just don't push it. It's supposed to be comfortable to do. And I also do this weird thing where I'm like just throwing my hands around, trying to warm it up a little bit better. And then sometimes I do this like weird motion where I'm just really trying to make sure the shoulder joint is properly warm and properly active and able to go in these ranges. And then I'll do this thing where I basically open up this kind of motion, because that's important with the bench. And my left arm doesn't really do it as much, but that's fine. That's a weak point, and I'm going to keep working on it. So that is a warm-up. Warm-ups are super important. Now we move into the first exercise, what you're actually here for, the Larsen Press. You see, the Larsen Press, if you're taking it to failure, you have to be safe. And so we're going to actually start all these exercises with a safety portion. Now the Larsen Press, to make it safe, you do it in the squat rack. Or you have some sort of, arms involved, if that makes sense. So that when you fail, you can safely fail. Or you can have a spotter to help you out. Well, the Larsen Press is a bit different to a normal bench exercise, for the reason that you don't actually have your feet planted into the ground. Now this does a few things, and there's a few reasons I do prefer it. The first is it makes it harder to stabilize. I know we had one of the core principles being stability, but truth is, doing an exercise that helps you perform your stability, when you go back to regular bench press, or maybe you do regular bench press in your other day, you're going to be able to do it more stable, which is going to be better, it's going to cause more growth. Even if we're not doing the better stability one 100% of the time, this is the current thing I have in my workout program. I'd recommend you try it, it's super, super good. Now, if you're noticing, as this is the first movement of the day, we're actually doing warm-up sets. This isn't something where we're doing tons of reps and tons of sets. We're doing 3 with 50%, we're doing 2 with 75%, and then we're doing 1 with 90%. That is all you need. Anything more is causing too much fatigue, and the only reason you do warm-ups after your joints being warm is to prime the movement pattern, which is what we're doing. These are like, I call them primer sets, honestly. I made an entire video on this if you want to explore that further. Okay, so now we're actually moving into my actual sets. I have 75 on the bar today. A little bit tired, and I've also been cutting, which means my chest isn't as big as it usually is because a bit of fat's come off it. So the range is going to be larger, which means if I actually get more reps, I'm progressive overloading, because not only am I smaller, but the range of motion is increased. Now, I didn't mention it before because I completely forgot, but the Larsen Press also has another benefit. Not only are we perfecting scapular stability and stability in general, but we are able to actually lengthen the chest more, because when you use the feet, you create more of an arch, a natural arch. Remember, we're not supposed to be maximizing things here. The execution is as follows. We want to have the arms positioned in a way where when you get it down, the forearms are perpendicular to the floor. As you can see here, I'm not trying to go as wide as possible to move the most amount of weight. I am trying to balance, and we just failed if I've synced this up properly, but I'm trying to balance a few things. I'm trying to make sure my chest is being maximally lengthened and that my triceps aren't being recruited as much as possible. And also an awesome way you can reset this is literally just by doing that when you fail, which is pretty cool if you don't have a spotter and you're using the squat rack. Now, a few more things about the execution. The concentric, which is just the phase where you push it up, that is going to be as fast as possible, as fast as you can possibly do it. Now, sometimes a bit slow if it's heavy, sometimes it's a bit grindy, but the idea is we are trying to move it up as fast as possible to use as many as the muscle fibers as possible to give them the best stimulus. Now, alongside this, the eccentric is controlled. It's slow. You're slowly bringing it down. You're not rushing it. You're not using momentum. And you have to control every single portion of this range, even the teeny tiny bit before it touches your chest. Now, I also do something called pausing, which is where I literally pause it at the bottom. And this helps you get strength off the chest because you're not using momentum. You're not rubber banding the pecs. And on a muscle like this, which benefits from being stretched, pausing there in a second or 2 is going to be super good, but we don't have to be excessive and do like 5 seconds. So that's kind of all we have for the execution. And grind, man, grind. Also, it may look like I'm doing it the wrong way around, like it's unbalanced. That's good, it is. Because, I don't know, maybe my hands or something, or like different limb lengths, but need to work on fixing that. Anyway, so that's just general commentary. Next, we're moving on to the next exercise, and that is the seated barbell shoulder press. So this takes, again, it takes place within the squat rack. If you'd like, you can do one primer set where you do 50% of the load, and that's it. Now, the safety and setup is fairly simple. We're literally using the exact same thing as before. I know, you're welcome, guys. I've made it easy for you. So you position the seat one notch back from the top, so you're able to lean slightly back so the barbell doesn't have to hit you in the face every time you push up, and you're also moving the squat rack bars up a little bit, just so you can actually fairly not die. And this is easy, you're just pushing up. Super easy. Again, we're having a similar sort of grip as the one before. Literally, you can make that identical. That's all you need. And then push, grind, and like, you can see the struggle here, man. I try. You have that like last burst of wind at the end. Didn't really last. Now my next set, I took a bit of a different angle for this. Honestly, I don't know if I'm feeling it. It was a bit difficult. I haven't filmed in the gym for ages, and when I used to film for TikTok, so the angles were completely different. So it's a bit weird. Not really used to it. It is good quality though. I have noticed that. Definitely going to be working on having one sort of these training videos a week, because I actually enjoy it and I like showing people what I'm doing. Also, this is like 55 kg, almost at a plate. Hopefully I can get there, even though I'm cutting quite aggressively. We can only hope. Now, some things about this to really help it for you guys is you're going to actually get strong quite quick. And alongside that, all of your shoulder movements are going to go up. This isn't just good for the front delt and the upper chest. You're also heavily working the side delt. In fact, it is incredible, the side delt. People will say it's not, and they're wrong. Next, we have the incline dumbbell press. Now, this is one of those exercises where I honestly don't know if I was filming it well. You can also see in the background my salt water, my electrolyte water, which is awesome. Also, a kind of cool thing that happened when I was doing this in the gym is a guy actually looked over to me. I don't know if you'll see this video, I hope he doesn't, because I'm speaking about him. But he gave me like a subtle look of like being impressed. I don't know. Using decently heavy dumbbells for this. It is 30 kilos almost. Very, very soon I'll be repping that, I am sure. But you can see how I don't really check things like angles. I am just absolutely having horrible picture. Like, you can't even see them going properly up. There's not many good positions for this sort of thing. Oh, safety. Safety for this is quite important, actually. Now, a few things with any pressing movement is people have told you to retract your scapula throughout the entire thing. That is completely wrong. You want to allow your scapula to retract naturally and protract naturally. The way you do that is by just letting it do what it wants to do. And when it lowers, you try and bring them together. When it goes up, you're not trying to keep it pulled together, you're literally just letting it move up. That is how you protect your shoulders, and that's how you be safe. you just saw me fall over, almost. That's fine, a little bit tired, cutting. It is going okay. I also realized I need to put my watch on charge, so let me just do that quickly for you guys. Okay, so let me tell you a little something about this movement on top of the little something that I've told you so far. The elbow tuck is quite huge if you actually see it. I don't know if you're getting a good angle. The reason for that is actually because the upper chest requires this sort of elbow tuck. If it was more flared, it would be mostly front delt. So you can see how difficult that last thing is. And now, it is a bit harder to push to failure on dumbbells because it's a bit scary, but trust me, with that elbow tuck, you're going to be able to do it. Now, the chest is done. I know we only did 6 sets, Fletcher. Are you crazy? No. When you have proper intensity, you actually need to reduce the volume. So now we're doing some cross-body cable tricep extensions. The setup is simple. You grab the ball of each, you position it at shoulder height, like the cable insertion, I'm going to call it, and then you just extend the arm. I like to think of this as a pushing movement instead of an extension, because when you picture your body pushing, you do a lot better, actually. There's not much when it comes to safety on this. But do make sure you're in the middle, because if you're not, it's a bit silly. And genuinely, this will make your triceps feel insane. Not only will the long head be worked massively, which is one of the most important parts of your tricep, but you'll get a juicy pump. Now on this, just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Those mini partials at the end will be great. And if you're microloading with weights, This is annoying. That happens way too often. I don't know why. So my next set, I think I actually moved the weight up because I didn't like the plates. I hate using plates when they go everywhere. It's just annoying. It's just really, really annoying. And I also changed the angle here for you guys because I wanted to try and make it as good as possible. Again, on every single movement, control that eccentric. If you're not controlling the eccentric, you are not controlling yourself. You're not getting good gains. I know it can be fun to not do that, but we're here for a reason. We're not here for fun. We're not here to throw around heavy weight. Man, this is actually a really good feel. Like, these are really good quality shots. Like, there's a bit of framing issues in some of them, but it looks good. Like, I'm actually really excited to get this out here. I'm really excited to show people my workouts, man. It's so much fun. Okay, that set's done, I guess. Let's move on to the next thing. Overhead tricep rope extensions. Now, after throwing around that weight, super easy. I'm kidding. This is super easy, man. You put it kind of crotch area, and that way you don't have to get it up all the way. It's just default there. You grab the two things at the end, and you're just pulling upwards. Now, when you stay in that bottom position a bit, try and minimize the timing. Like, you do want to standardize it where there's no momentum, but you don't want to sit there for a while. So just make sure you're coming out of that hole pretty good. This is quite a grindy movement, and it's a very hard one, but if you keep grinding, you'll get that most of the reps. I probably could have got that one, let's be real. Like, being authentic for a second, I probably should have kept trying. Oh well, I guess I do not train to failure. I am a scam, I am a failure, and everyone is able to see it now. Maybe I shouldn't record videos. Okay, the t-shirt is gone. That's not a t-shirt. The jumper is gone. I don't know why, but the back is coming through. What am I doing? Why am I posing? Ignore that. That was not supposed to happen. Man, I got pretty fat. Dude, look at those arms. I'm actually... Okay, it's hard to see them properly at sometimes, but we are getting bigger. That is a good thing. This movement, honestly, is a bit annoying. Sometimes it hits you in the back of the head, but I do like it. I'm probably going to try soon moving this up a bit and pushing forward instead of overhead, if that makes sense. I want to see what that feels like. I'm probably going to throw it in for a couple months or two. Dude, I'm actually getting huge. I didn't realize this. I should really film myself more often. Last time I filmed myself was ages ago, so I have no idea what I look like. Okay, what's next? Oh, lateral raises. You gotta end a push day with laterals because, I don't know, it's tradition. So, these cable laterals, I have them positioned at this sort of height, which means the hardest bit is going to be, I think, at the bottom, which is a lot better when it comes to standardizing these reps, because when it's lower it's really hard, but this kind of keeps the motion fairly, not easy, but smooth. It will become grindy, like you will see some really grindy reps here. And also, this is a bilateral movement. I think that's the right word. I'm a little bit tired today. I have been cutting, so bear with me. But what I'm trying to say is we're doing one side at a time, and most people want to rush into the other side. You don't want to do this. I don't actually show you all the sets here, but you don't want to rush into the other side, because when you do that, you fail. Why do you fail? Dude, why am I posing again? I think I was just feeling myself today. The reason you fail is because when you do this, you do not rest enough. And when you aren't resting enough, one side is gonna feel the brunt of that. One side will not have a fresh central nervous system. You're doing a disservice to one side. And when you wonder why one side is smaller and one side is weaker, you're literally like, this is why. This is the exact reason why, man. Because you keep doing dumb stuff like this. Like, you're setting yourself up to failure. It's awful. All of these rests, actually, I probably should have said it ages ago, but all of these rests are... Dude, look what the tricep looks like when it's coming up. That's what I'm talking about, the long head, that really huge thing under my arm that you're seeing. Are my biceps weak? Do I need better biceps? Maybe. That might be a weakness. Might have to push harder. Oh, I hate training biceps, man. I really do. Anyway, let's talk about some fallacies here. Progressive overload, Fletcher. I only need to add X weight and X reps. Why are you trying to make me train to failure? Well, don't be stupid is the response. This concept is not a concept because I made it up. It's not a concept because I want you to train hard and that's somehow better. It is a concept because it is scientifically backed and proven that this is exactly what you need to do to get effective reps, to get effective stimulus, to get effective growth. I'm not saying you won't grow if you don't train to failure. That's stupid because you will see people growing and not train to failure. But I am saying if you want to maximize your results and you want to actually get to like somewhere close to the peak of your natural limit, if there even is one, you do have to train hard and you do have to train to failure. Progressive overload is something which basically means, yes, I'm progressing in reps. Yes, I'm progressing in strength. Why is it helpful? Why can we actually somewhat use this? It's because if we keep training to failure, we're going to get stronger. So we do have to progressive overload. We do have to add those sets and reps to keep training to failure. It's not like that's what's getting us stronger. It's like anyone who thinks that is stupid because progressive overload comes after the strength increase. It doesn't come before. You don't somehow magically move up weight because you're planning to move up weight. That doesn't make any sense. How many people do progressive overload and then they plateau for a few months? Like, are you progressively overloading? Oh no, so you can't make more gains? No, because you're going to be stupid. Anyway, another fallacy we're going to go over, another myth, is the short rest period thing. I don't know why, but that someone put around a while ago that when you train for hypertrophy, you need like 30-second rests. I did it myself, and I don't know why I did it. It's pretty stupid, pretty dumb, huh? Everyone makes mistakes, though. So if you're neglecting these science-backed 3-minute rest breaks, then I don't know why you're in the gym. Just go for a run. So here is a full plan of action. I love full plan of actions, and yes, I'm still going to have one for a video like this. I'm sorry that I didn't have a story at the beginning. Maybe I'll record one now and add it in. So if there was a story at the beginning, that's why. But I'm still going to keep this bit in where I tell you, but that's why there was a story at the beginning. Anyway, full plan of action. Step 1, watch my routine. Literally watch how I perform every single exercise. Try and copy the form as much as possible. Step 2 is adopt this routine. This is one of your chest days now, one of your push days. Incorporate my exercises, incorporate the same sets and rest periods, and see what you can achieve. See how strong you can get, see how big you can get. Step 3 is log your workouts. If you don't log your workouts, what are you doing? I know we can speak about how progressive overload is important, but if I don't remember what weight I did last week, even if I push to failure, I'm probably going to pick the wrong weight. Let's be completely real. Especially if I haven't used an exercise in a while. When I throw it back in, I can literally go have a look at what I did last time and then have a guess. A good guess, a guesstimate of what I can move now, and it makes it super easy. Step 4 is stick to the plan. Consistency is very important. As I like to say, consistency is key. So stick with the routine for at least 4 weeks. I'm not saying that then you can change it and like hop onto something else, but I will say that something should be changed from your routine at least once every 6 weeks. Sorry, once every 4 weeks, something should be different. Whether that be switching those cable laterals for a different portion, you know, like bringing it all the way down, or I don't know, doing 2 at once and you're like focusing on, I don't know, like a Y raise sort of thing. But one thing should probably be changed every now and then, and that's just to remove any sort of, not overuse, but to do your due diligence in working different ranges of the muscle. And also eventually an exercise, no matter how good it is, no matter how stable it is, eventually it will no longer have its novelty stimulus, and when we switch it out, we can get a novelty stimulus from something else, and that's pretty good. So do be consistent. Keep going to the gym is more so the consistency I'm looking for. Keep smashing your sections, keep doing every single exercise, keep going. That's what we actually need. We don't need what am I doing? Anyway, step 4 is assess and tweak. You know I love the assessing, you know I love the tweaking. So after that 4 week, after that 1 month, review your progress. If you've been bulking, which I hope you've been doing, but it's not necessary, literally just throughout those 4 weeks, take photos, look at your strength, see how much has gone up, look at your physique, see how much has changed, do measurements if you'd really like to, see how big your chest has gotten. And if it isn't working, then come here for a refund. Pretty stupid. So, are you convinced you can make smarter gains than me? Are you convinced that my workout sucks because the exercises aren't stable? Well, maybe you have a right to say that, because yes, the exercises were not 100% stable, doesn't mean they're bad. Adopt the principles, adopt the exercises, stop overthinking every small little thing, because if you're here, you probably need help, and you don't need help where you can work out all of this on your own. Like, I can see the flaws in my workout. I'm okay with them, and I know how to fix them, and if I wanted to, I could. But you just need to do something that works right now. You don't have to keep hopping and switching exercises to target different fibers of the of the chest. You don't have to start working out the chest. I don't know, man. But what I would like you to do is go down and comment which exercise you're most looking forward to. Because you are doing this, man. And I'd even like you to go down and comment that you're doing it, that you're in. I'd also like you, I'd love you to, and I'm annoyed that I haven't said this earlier because it's right at the end of the video, but I'd like you to tell me what you think of these sort of videos, because they're a bit different, aren't they? Normally I sit here and there's no B-roll and it's just me speaking and helping you guys. But for once I've shown you something. And let's leave the ego, let's leave ego lifting, let's leave bro science in the past, let's move forward with smart science-based lifting. But I do want to know if you'd like this, guys. Like, I can give you all the tips in the world, I can teach you everything, but maybe you just want to see something every now and then. Maybe you want something a bit more personal, although I do have stories in every single video, so I don't know why you need more personal from me.